The next question will be asked by Sean Yost from the Baltimore Afro-American, and it will be started off by Jim Shea. Mr. Yost.
What is your plan to keep the burgeoning undocumented immigrant population community in the state safe?
Well, the first thing I would do with that community is to make sure it felt welcome and protected. I would not have our local jurisdictions help ICE round up immigrants, undocumented immigrants, who didn't otherwise have problems with the law. The Trump administration's practice of doing that has created terror within that community. We need to open our arms and protect them, like I did when I was chair of the university system, and we provided Dreamers with in-state tuition, lower tuition.
Thanks, Mr. Shea. Mr. Ross, on undocumented immigrants.
Donald Trump is a vulgar, demented pig demon. The hatred he directs to our immigrants is absolutely un-American. And as governor, what I will do is I will make sure the state troopers who report to the governor protect the rights of our citizens and guests from overreach from ICE. Just the words that Trump uses regarding ICE, off the leash, is wrong. And as governor, when you go from Donald Trump's Washington into Maryland, you'll be entering the resistance on this issue.
Mr. Jealous.
You know, I'm proud to be one of the two people up here who've been locked up outside Trump's White House protesting on behalf of our Dreamers. I co-chaired the campaign to pass the DREAM Act, and one of our young Maryland Dreamers had been found dead in a truck trailer in Texas trying to get home to his family. That truck trailer turned into an oven. As governor, I will stand up for all people in our state to make sure that we are treated fairly, and that's why I've been endorsed by Casa de Maryland, because they know that I have a heart
Thank you, Mr.
and
Jealous.
a brain to fight for all immigrants.
Ms. Irvin.
Yes, other than being arrested like Ben Jealous was at the DACA demonstration in Washington, D.C. some months ago, I'm really proud of what Kevin Kamenetz was able to do as the county executive of Baltimore County, and I want to continue in his footsteps. But he he signed an executive order to keep all students safe at all 4 Baltimore County community colleges and turned the county into a sanctuary county. I would like to see Maryland become a sanctuary state under an Irvin Johnson administration.
Thanks, Ms. Irvin. Senator Madaleno.
As your governor, my goal isn't to get arrested in front of the White House. My goal is to walk into the White House and tell the president this has to stop. This inhumane, immoral taking of children away from their parents. We need to stand up for our immigrant community because we're all immigrants. They built our country. Our families immigrated here and built our country. This is the next wave. It's just important for us to recognize that, which is why, as a legislator, I supported the Trust Act to make sure community policing means just that. They're there to police all the community, not to enforce federal laws.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Jones.
As governor, I certainly want to make sure that no matter where people are from, I want them to feel safe, and I want them to feel like they can be afforded the same opportunities as others have received coming from other countries. So we need to keep that in mind. And for some of us who are from other places, we just need to know that everybody deserves the opportunity and the chance to live and to work without fear of anything taking place in their lives or them being taken away from their families.
Thanks, Mr. Jones. Ms. Vignarajah.
I'm an immigrant, and I know that if my family had fled a civil war today, instead of in 1980, we wouldn't have been allowed into Donald Trump's America. Our president is not just unpresidential, he's un-American. And you have my promise that as governor, I will make sure that no law enforcement authority under my watch will be deputized into Trump and Sessions' army in their war on immigrants. Part of what I'll make sure is that every immigrant is aware of their rights, but also as a lawyer, I'll make sure they have the legal rights and services to enforce them.
Ms. Vignarajah, thank you. Mr. Jaffe, on undocumented immigrants in Maryland.
You know, the real answer is we need to impeach the current president. And what disturbs me is both parties are playing politics with this, both Democrats and Republicans. I haven't heard, except for Maxine Waters and one other congressman from Texas, I haven't heard any politician say, he must go, he must be impeached. Both parties play politics with this, and that's why our state and our union is so messed up.
Mr. Baker.
I agree with Mr. Jaffe. That's why I called last year for Donald Trump to be impeached. I also commend, Ms. Irvin. She's absolutely right. Kevin Cabinet signed an order for Baltimore County. I signed the same order for Prince George's County because people were afraid to send their children to school, to report crimes, or to go get health care because they thought our local police were going to act as ICE or our jails were going to be holding cells for them. That's unacceptable. It has a chilling effect. This president has to go.
Mr. Baker, thank you. Mr. Ross, I believe this is your final rebuttal about undocumented immigrants.
I want to thank all of you who are watching because part of what you're doing is you are choosing to care about our democracy and our elections as our politics get so much uglier. And on this issue of immigration, I think it's sort of representative of that. What we really need are politicians who are compassionate, who lead with empathy, who aren't thinking necessarily about power and who they can defeat, who they can overwhelm, but who lead with both head and heart. So I thank you for watching, and I thank you for choosing to not push away from our politics
Thank you,
at a
Mr.
moment
Ross.
that it's getting really ugly.